And we're live. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Good evening or good day, wherever you are. My name is Aramus Smog, and welcome to Web Boss YouTube channel. Today, we'll be integrating MailChimp into a React JS project, making use of serverless functions. And I'm going to be explaining the reason why we're going to be using serverless functions for this. And that's because the MailChimp API doesn't allow you to make requests through the client. So you need to pass it through some form of server. And since I'm not a backend engineer, even though I used to write backend in the past, I just thought that it would be best to use a serverless function. And the serverless function that we'll be using today is Gatsby serverless function. The same principles or the same approaches is what you would use in other serverless function platforms like Next.js, AWS Lambda, and so on and so forth. So without wasting too much of your time, I guess we just dive into the integration. So I'm going to come over to Brand here and just like play some music in order to like just set the mood for this integration. And we have quite a number of things to get through this evening because we'll be doing some integration with Paystack and Basket to accept donation from Tech. Just to be sure that you, the audience, can still hear my voice while the music is going on. So this is the website so far. We have about us, the pictures of the team members. This is everybody making the magic for other pieces of tech come to life or becoming a reality. So, of course, on every page, we have this newsletter subscription form. And so far, if I inspect here, and the inspect here is on the left-hand side. I don't know. I think I made a mistake for that setting. Let me see if I could adjust it. And this feels a little bit uncomfortable. So I'm going to come over to console. Then I'm just going to type email. I'll say mail@domain.com. Then save it up. And it returns an object. Oh, no, it doesn't return an object. Okay, yeah. So it logs the email address, which is mail@domain.com. So let's dive into some code right now. So for this form, I've actually written written the form, especially in terms of the UI, because I wanted to focus on the integration with MailChimp using the serverless function. I see that someone is on the stream. Please just drop a comment and let's have some fun. We do this every Sunday, right? So I'm just going to explain the way this form works right now, just so that if anybody gets to look at this code in the future, maybe on GitHub, they kind of understand what's going on. So I'm going to go to the newsletter component. And for form validation, we are using React Hook Form and YOP. YOP is how we define the validation schema. So you see here we have a validation schema, then you have the YOP.object, then you have the shape. In this instance, we are dealing with the email address. We are saying that the email address is a string and it is required and it must match this pattern, which is the pattern for emails. This is regex, by the way, regular expressions. You can just go on Google, search what that is if you don't know what it is. Let me adjust my mic here. Please let me know if you can hear me, and let's continue this. So basically what you have here is the React hook form. You have a hook here that is use form, then you can get this register from it. You can destructure a bunch of things from the hook form. Okay, didn't see it quick enough. Okay, let me go back to what was logged in the console. So what was logged in the console is the email that I entered here, which says mail@domain.com. So we have email_address, mail@domain.com. I hope you saw that. I think there's a bit of lag in these streams. Maybe if I get a star link, maybe that would solve my problem. But yeah, I think I will just go ahead and continue writing the code. So you have register, you have undo submit, then you have the form state, which is error. So what React Hook Form basically allows you to do is to be able to monitor the form, the various states of the form, because forms are one of the hardest things to manage when it comes to React or even like front end. So if you search for React Hook Form, then say simple React forms validation. So you can just check out the documentation. It's actually quite easy. I've used it in a couple of projects and I thoroughly enjoyed working with it. So also, by the way, I should be creating a video soon on React libraries, not React libraries, packages that I think that every React developer should have or should use in their React project. If that's something that you'd be interested in, please do let me know in the comment section. The stream is actually a bit boring right now. Not boring. We have one person on this stream. So I think it's time for some social media buzz. and it's time for some social media buzz so that people can probably like join up, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. All right, and we are live. Alrighty, so I think I should just open some code. Let me just open some code while Twitter is loading up. Just a minute, please. All right. I'm most likely would do that video. Then Instagram. Nope, not a new post. Sorry, I hope you don't mind me doing this because it feels like I'm wasting time. But then we need more people in here to just make things a little bit interesting. Okay. Well, how do you do this story? Okay, yeah. Righty, then just one more. I just need to add a link to this guy. Thank you so much, Ayadeji. Join up. Alrighty. Oh yeah, I think I'm still kind of working on that. Like for example, like today I literally like add a shoot, right? Like there's just been a lot, but I'll do better on that front, getting the link streamed ready before Sundays. I think I'll do better on that front. I'll do better on that front actually. Alrighty, so all social media buzz is done. Let's do the job, because in the end, all we have to do is just create. It's still left to the people to determine if they will come or not. So you have the use form, which basically, you have the mode, which basically helps you to track when you want to do the validation. Is it immediately they are typing, or is it like after they've submitted the form? So for example, right now, if I come over to this place and I click on, you see that it say, kindly enter your email address because it's required, and I've not entered email address. It says mail@domain.com. And now it is a valid email address. Then on submit, there's an undo submit that this guy gives you, that use form gives you. So that's what you should pass to your on submit to your form. Then you now have your function that you want to run when the form actually submits. That's what you are going to pass to undo submit. Then you can now catch data, which is all the data inside of the form there in your function. Now it's going to pass it down, right? Then you can do e.prevent before, then you can console log your data. Cool stuff. So that's basically like the way forms work, right? You understand the way forms work. So let me do a console.log again. You see that mail@domain.com. Let me remove that console.log for the submitting, save it up, and boom, and that's it. So yeah, the next thing that we want to do now is to actually start writing our serverless function. And for something like Gatsby.js, the way you write a serverless function is to basically, under your source folder, create an API folder and just name your serverless function the name of the endpoint. Say something like newsletter. So you have newsletter, right? That's the name of the serverless function that we are working on, newsletter.js. So nobody crams this, by the way. So I'm just going to come over here and say Gatsby functions. And what I'm going to do is just copy a boilerplate for what service of the Gatsby serverless function. For new people joining the stream, thank you so much. I see you. Okay, I don't see you. Please drop a comment in the comment section so I can see you actually. So I'm just going to pick this guy, save it up, and it's just returns a response, right? The status of 200, that is okay. Then it returns a JSON of hello world. So if I come over to localhost 8000, I do /API/newsletter, right? I can see that this returns a JSON. Hi, Azizat, most regular person on this stream who doesn't even write a code. How amazing is that? You are indeed a web boss. Thank you so much for joining this session. Let's see the amazing things we can do together this evening. So you can see right now that this returns a JSON that is hello world, right? And basically you have a server. That's why they call it serverless function, because you don't have to like set up a server like MAMP or WAMP and all of that. And Alao Ifeoluwa, thank you so much. You have been irregular on these streams, but it's actually amazing to have you. I hope you will stay to the end of the stream. Sensational. I'm not only Muslim, but that was sensational. Okay, so let's get to it, right? I think somebody else just joined. Please drop a comment in the comment section so that I can see you. Thank you so much. So right now, we can confirm that this guy returns some data when you visit /API/newsletter, right? But one thing that we want to be sure of is to ensure that this is a post request, and I'm going to explain myself right now. So this function, you see that it accepts two parameters. You have the request and you have the response. The response is basically what gets returns to the client, while the request is basically what the client sends. I don't know if that makes sense. So for example, when you are submitting a form, you have your email address, you have the full name or the first name. That's a request to the backend, right? So if I come over here and I do something like, let's say for example, console.log, okay, let me even do a return of requests, and let's see what that gives us. It's most likely will not give us anything for now. Okay, to give us some stuffs, right? But maybe not like the full stuff that we want. Okay, so we'll probably need to do a JSON.parse of request. We're going to do JSON.parse. Okay, let's do just stringify. Let's see what that gives us. It should give us something. Okay, it doesn't want to give us anything, but there are a couple of properties on this request that I think you would need to know, especially for the case of this video. So I'll do something like const request method. So that is the kind of request that is being made. Like for anyone who has built a CRUD application, CRUD simply means create, read, update, and delete. And that's basically the way most things work. And for people who don't write code here, the way that works is that, for example, if you go on Twitter and you create a tweet, what you have done is to create. That is the C part of CRUD. Read is when someone else enters Twitter and they're able to view all the things on the timeline they are reading. Updates, which Twitter doesn't support. Hey, Salahuddin Abdurrahman, thank you so much for joining up. I hope you not run away after 5 minutes. This session is actually going to be packed. I appreciate you for dropping by. So read is basically when people go on Twitter, for example, and they read the things that they are calling data from the database, even though technically they are not the one calling it. It's Twitter that is calling it for them. They're reading that data, right? Then update is, Twitter doesn't support updates, right? But when you have the same data, they're trying to make an update to. Okay, an example of update is, for example, you go to your profile and you update your username. That's an update action. Then delete is you delete a tweet. That's the way CRUD works, right? So for every time that you create, you update, and you delete something, you are carrying out an HTTP request method, right? And that request method could be get, it could be post, it could be put, it could be delete, and there are a bunch of other ones, right? So what I want to get now is what kind of request is the client making to my server. So I'm just going to do rec.method, right? And I'm going to do a JSON. I'm going to return this, and I'm going to say rec.method, right? And this should return get. Say request method is get, right? So one thing you should pay attention to is that get requests are usually public. Technically, they're usually public, which means that anybody can access it from the front end. Post request usually comes from the form, right? And we want to ensure that whosoever is making requests to this serverless function is doing it from a form. So what I want to do is I want to say const is post request equals rec method. By the way, I'm not a backend engineer, so I might not be using like the cleanest methods and all of those things, right? To write a backend API, but right, I hope this works. So, I'm just going to say if it's post request, right? I'm just going to say console.log. Sensational. Else console.log. Bro, really? because we don't expect that anybody should even be aware of this endpoint in the first instance. So if I save this up, can anybody guess what the response is going to be? Of course, it should be bro, really. So newsletter. It's taking a bit of time to execute. That is, oh no, it should not be a console.log. What I should be doing is a res.status. I could just do a res.send and say, so I could actually return text instead of JSON. Save this up and res.send as well. Res.send. Right, so let me refresh this again. So you see, it says bro, really. Now, how do we confirm that this is actually coming, that this guy actually executes as well? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to convert this guy to JSON. I'm just going to do res.json. Then I'm going to say message is sensational, right? Then I'm going to go to my newsletter form. Right, I have the subscribe to newsletter function here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this an async function. I'm just going to do an await of fetch, right? And I'm going to do /API/newsletter. So that's another thing about serverless functions. Because your code, your front end and your back end, they kind of live in the same place. You can basically access it this way. Then I'm going to say that the method is posts. And that's all I'm going to do right now. I probably should add some headers. And by the way, every single time I need to add headers, I'm just going to say content type. Like, I literally forget what I should be putting in here most times. So I just copy and paste here. Application /JSON. Is it application/JSON? Okay, let's see what this does. Let me just check the waitlist form and let me see what that looks like. It should be content type application/JSON. I got it right this time around. You know, always be honest. Even during interviews, if you don't know something, just say you don't know it. They won't kill you for it. They would even appreciate the fact that you're honest. So headers, content. Okay, no, this shouldn't be an object. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is now is .then. Want to catch this promise, then I'm going to say res. I'm going to just say res the response.json or result.json. Then I'm going to do data.then, and I'm going to do data, and I'm just going to do a console.log of data, right? Save it up. Let's come back to our front end here. Then if of course, by the time I say mail@domain.com, it should return this guy. Let me close out every other thing and leave just these two guys open. So newsletter, the API and the front end, that's the only two things I want here. So of course, it should return this JSON of message sensational. So if I come over here, mail@domain.com, and you see here, it says message sensational. So we're able to send data. Not technically, we are not able to send data, but we're able to access our backend now from the front end. So on to the next thing. So now that we have access, now that we know that, we can connect to our serverless function or the backend, so to speak, one of the next thing we of course want to do is to be able to send the data to it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and say that the body, remember that data holds all the value in our form, right? So I'm just going to come over and say body is called JSON.stringify data. If it's your first time working with data and trying to send something to the backend, just know that you can only send strings over servers. So I'm going to come over here. Now remember that we had our request.method. Like I told you, like there are a bunch of properties on this request parameter or this request argument, and one of them is method. Another one is actually the request body. So I can come over here and say that const rec body, request body equals request.body, and I'm just going to right now just return whatsoever is in the request body. Of course, it is counterproductive, but just so that you see what exactly is happening here. So I'm just going to do rec body, and let me submit this, and you see that it returns the email address. That means that we now have our email address in the backend. By the way, I can actually access the backend. Like I don't necessarily have to return it to the backend. I can actually log this in the console. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say console.log rec body, and it should show up in my console here. So let me send this guy. You see, it's showing up in my console down here. Oh, let me take my face away so that you can see that. Nah, I definitely do not want that. Okay, yeah, you can see now that it shows email address mail@domain.com. So that shows that we have access to it. Cool stuff. Now we are able to send our email address to the backend technically, but that's not where we need it. We need this to be inside of MailChimp because we are creating a newsletter subscription form, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the MailChimp developer docs. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is for anybody watching this live, docs, I believe that docs has the way, the truth, and the lie. Nobody is able to like figure shit out without like really going through the docs, because there are a bunch of things that you need to pay attention. Like if you just say, oh, you're just looking for random tutorials online and you're not going through the docs, like I feel like MailChimp is one of the widest marketing tools. Okay, maybe not one of the widest email marketing tools, and there's just like a lot of things, right? And many a times those things can get confusing, except like you go through the doc and have to figure things out. So that's why I want us to go through the doc. I know the specific thing that we need, but I actually want us to go through the doc so that we can figure things out. So MailChimp developer docs. And interestingly, I actually love the developer docs for MailChimp. So I'm just going to click any of these guys. No, I'm going to click on API reference. Then I can just come over here and just say add member to list. Right? Then it gives me all of these stubs. So it gives all of these endpoints, right, that you can call. But like as you can see right now, there's really no base URL, which is, for example, are we making this endpoint request to let's say api.mailchimp.com? That's not really clear, right? But if you expand this, so it says add member to list. So the HTTP request I was trying to explain the other time, you can see we have get, say list member info, post, add member to list, get member info, then put to update. Patch is also to update. So it says put is for adding or updating a list member. So this is actually what we are going to be using. And the reason we are going to be using it is because many a times you are not sure if, for example, the mailing list that we are creating, there are some people in that mailing list, right? And there's a probability that by the time we launch this product, some of them are already on the waiting list, and we don't want to bounce them off because we want to put them in a new category because they are now part of like other pieces of tech wait list, right? Not just other pieces of tech, other pieces of tech newsletter, not just other pieces of tech wait list. So this is what we are going to be using. And you can see here that we have a library that is being used there. It says at MailChimp / MailChimp marketing. I've used this in the past and it seemed not to work. So the one that I found that works is, let me go to my package.json. That's MailChimp marketing. I've used this a couple of times and it works. So if you're trying to integrate with MailChimp, just use MailChimp-marketing. And however, the procedure in which you are going to use it is very similar to this. So there are a bunch of things that is required here. It says const client equals this. So I'm going to copy this guy. I'm basically just going to copy this code. No, I'm not going to copy this code. Don't let us be like other YouTubers. We have to. We are web boss. We have to be different. So I'm going to say const MailChimp. Client is too, I don't know, it's too generic, right? So if I say const client equals this, then what is the client? Because you can have multiple clients. And I'm going to say require. Oh, what's happening here? I think my keyboard is messed up. Okay. MailChimp marketing. So that's the library that we want to use, right? So instead of client, I'm now calling this guy MailChimp, right? Then I'm going to set the config. It says MailChimp.setConfig, right? And we have the API key. So the things that I expect is the API key, right? Then the server. So for the API key, the API key, just log into your MailChimp dashboard, go to settings, and there's always like a tab for developers. And I don't want to expose my API key. This is a live stream. I don't know who's going to watch this stream in the future and probably like try to mess things up, right? But like just log into your MailChimp dashboard or just search Google and say how to get my MailChimp API key. Like it's not that simple. Something that you might actually have issue with or struggle with is getting the server. And the server basically is just, or server prefix rather, is I will log into my MailChimp dashboard now, right? When you log into your MailChimp dashboard, whatsoever you see in front of the full domain. So for example, you have us16.admin.mailchimp.com. This us16 is actually your admin server prefix. So I'm just going to come down over here and put that in here. For the API key, I have the value in my environment variable. So what I'm just going to do is come over here. This is the sample. This is the full EMV. I'm not going to expose that definitely, but I'm going to come over here and just say process.env.gatsby MailChimp key, and that's it. We have MailChimp set up to do stuffs now. So if I come back to the MailChimp documentation, right? So let's look at these things. It says run async equals this guy, response equals this, and all of that. So in this case, actually, I'm just going to copy this guy, and I'm going to. So we have the config. So I want to be sure that this configuration is set inside of the post request, just so that somebody doesn't try to like mess anything up, right? So the response is this guy. Then I'm going to make this guy an async function for obvious reasons, right? Async, right? Then and response equals await client. Then this guy now will be MailChimp, right? We've agreed on that. At least just set this member. The list ID is simple to get. Just come over to your MailChimp dashboard. Come over to audience, right? Just go to audience dashboard or something. Click on these numbers. Give it a minute. Click on these numbers. Click on settings. Click on audience name and defaults. And you are going to see this guy. And that's your audience ID. I'm actually sure there's nothing you're going to do with that. So I'm going to put that in here. Now, the next thing it is asking for over here is the subscriber hash. So remember that the endpoint that we are using, the endpoint that we are interacting with here is actually the add members. It says, where is it? Add or update list member. So we are not sure if this person is new or if they are not. If you are creating a new campaign, please just go ahead and use this post request instead, right? You see that the process is like a bit shorter and all of that, right? So what I'm going to do is list members at this guy. So what I'm going to do is now to get the subscriber hash, I actually have to Google this. Basically what you just need is the MD5 hash of the person's email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say const MD5. MD5 is an encryption algorithm, right? Require MD5 full stop. So and it's about 5.5 kilobytes. Cool stuff. So to get the subscriber hash, remember that I said that request the body basically contains all the payload from the front end. So what that means is that I can now get the email address equals request body, right? Then the subscriber hash, then I can come over here and say const subscriber hash. Backend snake case, I don't know. Front end, I'm much more comfortable using camel case. So subscriber hash should now be MD5 into brackets the email address, right? Then Afsa Mekoma, how you doing? Good evening. I hope you are not the one that dropped off and ran away. Sensational. So you have the email address. So you have the subscriber hash. So that's this guy, subscriber hash. Then the email address will be the email address. We don't need, this is ES6, so I can do this and it will be allowed. Then status if new is subscribed. Remember that this endpoint does one thing, right? Which is to check, is this person new? If they are new, okay, go ahead and add them to the newsletter, right? And what status should they be by the time they join the newsletter? Should they be subscribed, pending, and all of that, right? So right now we want to make sure that they are subscribed when they join the newsletter. So we have their email address and their status if new. And there's one more thing that we want to do, which is we want to add a tag to them so that we can filter the people inside of our audience, so that we can easily filter our audience and target them with various campaigns. So if I come to tags, this is basically an array. So I'm just going to come over here and say tags, make it an array. And okay, I'm coming. Okay, that should be inside of here. I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to say OFT newsletter. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but if it works, man, I'll be so happy. Alrighty. So we are waiting for this guy to execute. If it's successfully executes, then what we want to do is we want to do a res.status of 200. Then we want to return a JSON, and this is just going to say message. We'll call it subscription successful. Right? Now there's a problem with this code. And that problem is the fact that we are not doing any form of error check, and anything could go wrong in what we have here so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this in a try catch. So we want to try and add the want to try and add or update the person's email, right? If this is successful, then do that. Else, we want to catch any error, right? And for now, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a res.status, right? And because I've worked with this in the past, right, I know that this is response.status code also, right? Then I'm going to do dot send. No, I'm going to do JSON, right? Then the message is response.message. I probably should have used error. I think that's cleaner and easier to read. Uncle Bob will be happy with me now. Error. That's response.message. Save it up and let us see. So we've written a bunch of code so far. We've not even tested if any of it works, but let's see what we have so far. So I want to check my newsletter form, right? Also, I want to wrap this guy in a try catch too, because anything can absolutely go wrong. So try catch. Then also I'm going to do a catch here as well, right? What I'm just going to do is alert, something went wrong. Then else, why do I keep writing else? Catch, error. I'm just going to say console.log. I'm just going to log the error and say error.message. I'm actually hoping that something goes wrong because I believe that that's true definition of an engineer. Something has to go wrong. Whoop! Wow, the subscription was successful. Man. Okay, so let's check our newsletter. And so we have 257 as of now. If I refresh now, it should be 258. It should be 258. Whoop! It worked! Oh, nice. That's amazing. So if I come over to your audience, I'm just going to click on that number, and I'm going to come over to manage contacts, and I'm going to click on tags. Then I'm going to scroll down, and let's see if there is a new tag. Accept all cookies, please. Then there should be an OFT newsletter, and here it is. It says it was created when 19/2/2023. Then if I click on view, it says the email address is this same email address once again. What is it going to do? Add it, and the subscription is successful because what it's simply going to do is it's going to check, does this email address exist? Yes, it does. It does, right? Then just go ahead and update it. There's nothing to update, then it just basically moves on with life. So let me try and do this. Remove at gmail.com, which is my email address, then save it up, and subscription successful. So there was no error. That's amazing. I was expecting some form of error, but there was none. So if nothing went wrong, oh, that was so fast. If nothing went wrong, then what I'm just going to do is something went wrong, can we try again? So this is most likely like from the server. Over here, it means that something was wrong with this block of code. So that's the difference between the two. So over here, I'm just going to do alerts. We probably will introduce a toast in the future, but for now, I'm just going to alert. You have been added to our newsletter. Save it up and let's try it again. You have been added to our newsletter. Then the next thing I want to do, of course, is I want to reset this form, which is I want to clear this data here. So I'm going to click clear the React hook form. Then I'm going to come not advanced. I want to search. Is there a search button here? API, use form. I'm looking for reset. Form states, clear error, set focus, trigger. I guess I would have to look at one of these. It's dirty, it's valid, it's validating. So let me just say reset React hook form. React hook form reset. Oh, it was there. So reset. We saw the entire form fields, reference and section. The optional comment. Reset. It said it's recommended to reset inside use effects after successful submission. All right. So what does this do? When default value is not supplied to self-family it's because it's so I'm coming. So reset the entire form. I feel like it's recommended to. I guess I'll just go ahead and see what this does. Is there a submit successful? I will check. So I'm going to come over here. Newsletter. Use effect. Right. Just paste this here. Then form state is submitting, then I think reset to be a part of. Okay, so it's one of the things that is returned in here. Reset, right? This effect. So so we need a use state. So cons is submit. Successful. Then set is submit successful. Oh, there should be a submit successful state now. This form. Use callback. Reset async form. Asynchronously reset your form values. Okay, no problem. So what I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to say is submit successful because use state, right? False. Then I'm going to have use effect in here, right? Then I'm going to come over here. So this is based on the submit successful. Then I'm going to say that submit successful here is true, right? Submit successful here is true. Then reset data email address. Let's see what this does. I'm hoping it works. It should work. So same thing again. Oh, okay. I think it's even got clear. So I want to use the same email I've used before. Papa. Successfully added to the newsletter. Oh, reset didn't work. What happened? The reset did not work. Sensational. So it says here, now reset your form values asynchronous. Reset your form values, right? And to submit this. I don't trust that. I guess I'll just call the reset in here inside of the undo submit. Add to where's our method? So subscribe to newsletter. So I'm just going to call reset in here. I'm just going to call reset. I'm just going to call reset in here. So that use effect is gone. I'm sure I've used this in the past. I can't really remember how I used it, but I'm going to just do that. That's gmail.com. Give it up. All right, and that worked. So we're able to reset the form and we can go on to the next thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and say git add. Let's commit fit news letter subscription integration. So the next thing that we're going to do, let me just push this. So the next thing I want to work on is donation. I want to work on donation. So I want to work on a donation form. So if someone clicks on donate, they get to this page, then there should be a form for them to be able to like drop some money and all of that, right? So I'm going to go to the donate page, donate, right? And we've kind of broken it down a bit, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hard code everything in here first, and I'll clean up later. I'm going to make this a section, right? Oh no, let me just use a container straight up. Container, I'm going to use a container in here. Boss, good evening. Thank you so much for joining up. So container, I'm just going to use a container in here, right? Then I'm just going to start creating the form, by the way. Then I'm just going to have some input in here. Input, right? So let's see what that gives us so far. Right, cool stuff. Just what I needed. So I'm just going to say const. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say const form container style. Form container style equals CTL, right? Then I'm just going to create a max width. I'm going to create a max width of, let's say, 600 pixels. 600 pixels. Then class name equals form container style, right? Then of course MX. Okay, I don't even need to add MX auto. All right, cool stuff. I think I like this, right? Then the name placeholder equals I'm just going to take their full name. I beg. Full name. Good stuff. Then full name, email address, what else? Then amount, amount to donate, e.g. 5,000, amount e.g. 5,000. Then what else? Donation type, payment platform. This is going to be a select, but right now I'm not really paying attention to this donation part, right? No, not to the donation part, but to the type of payment. So I'm going to start off by accepting fiat, then I'm then going to progress to actually accepting crypto. So then I have the button here, the button, right? And the text on this button, text is going to be donate. Oh, stop. How amazing is that? Right. So this form container, I want to add some margin button, MB, because let's say 50 pixels. Let's say 50 pixels. Just so that just so that there is some space, or there's some space over there. Then we have this now. Okay, yeah, nothing happens so far. So one of the things we want to do now is to use React hook form to handle things, right? So I'm going to come over here and say cons whatsoever, right? I'm just going to say use this form, React hook form, right? Then I'm going to say the mode is on change, right? Then there's going to be a register, and the submit, and form state. And this form state is going to contain errors. It's going to contain errors. What else is validating? No, not is validating, is submitting. I think those are, then is valid, just to be ensured that things work the way they ought to. I'm actually not going to do any strict validation right now because I'm kind of focused on just being able to collect money from the users, right? Then the input type for this guy, type should be number. So on change is not defined, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do now, obviously, is I'm now beginning to register these guys. So we have full name. So it should be register into bracket register full name, right? Then register into register email, then register equals register amounts, and register equals register payment gateway, right? And if there's any error, we want to be able to catch the error and say errors dot full name dot message. So I'm just going to copy this and use it across the board. Mail. Same thing. Amount. Don't expect there will be an error for now, so we're just going to leave that over there. So then on submit equals undo submit. Then I'm going to create a new function here and say make donation. So I've just said donate, then data, then E. And of course, we are going to make this an async function. Sync, right? Then we are going to prevent the default so that the form doesn't reload, right? Then we're just going to console.log of data. I think someone is on here. Don't run away, please. Let's have some good time together. I'm lonely. Oh, let make donation. Oh, the person ran away. Interesting. So let me save this guy up and let's see what we have so far. Let me refresh this guy. See, on change is not defined. So let me remove this type of number and let's save it. Let's see. It says on 1611. Oh shit. It should be a string. Thank you. First off. So I'm just going to say aremu, then aremu at domain.com. Then amount is 5,000. Then the payment platform is Paystack. Right. Then let's check the console. Then donate. Nothing happened. The e.prevent default didn't work. Are you kidding me? Make donation. Nah. That's wrong. I have to feed this guy again. Yeah. And we have all the data that we need in here. Amazing. So I need to change the type of this guy. I need to change it to a number. Type is number. Right. Then the email, the type is also email. Just to ensure that we do some validation on that front. And I think I'm kind of cool with that. So the next thing I want to do is now the next thing I want to do right now is to integrate Paystack, obviously, right? So I'm going to come to npm, then there's this Paystack package. So I'm just going to search for Paystack, then React Paystack. And I'm going to do yarn add React Paystack. That should really take a minute, I guess. Yarn add Paystack, React Paystack. While that is ongoing, let me take some time out. So that's loading. And by the way, guys, we have more than 1,000 followers on TikTok. How amazing is that? Oh, that's hot. You know. Woo. So React Paystack is getting installed right now. React Paystack is getting installed. Alrighty, we're waiting for which is this is one of the reasons why I try as much as possible to install stuff before live stream. But then seems like we can't really do away with it that much every time, yeah. It's sensational. Okay, I hope this gets done quickly. And so it's sensational. Great guy, you know. It says unexpected error, MailChimp marketing. I saw that coming. Oh god. But it's not MailChimp marketing I'm trying to install, bro. I'm trying to install React Paystack. I hope React Paystack was installed. Else, for this we carry everybody. Package.json, React Paystack, React Paystack, React Paystack. Nah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to comment this guy out. Don't stress me, I beg. Don't make me think. I'm going to then add React Paystack. I basically have the code already, so I don't understand why Jan is trying to get another updated version for me. Okay, so he's waiting for all these dependencies to get installed. I don't know why Jan does this, by the way. I don't think React does. I don't think npm does. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Alrighty, so then I will MailChimp marketing back in here. Some of us are wise. Okay, so React Paystack, we have that now. So what does the documentation say? It says that you should create a config, then the email is that, the amount is that, then the public key is that. Okay, I didn't even know this was what the I didn't even know this was what the setup looked like. Okay, so I'm just going to copy all of this guy, everything here, right? And I'm going to say newsletter, donate, newsletter. Okay, donate rather. Then I'm just going to paste this in here for now. So it says reference equals this, config equals that, all of that. So what I'm going to do is these two guys actually, these two guys are actually going to be here, right? Then I'm going to say that the public key should be process.env, tmv dot, let me see, Gatsby, shit. I don't know what is on this stream. Gatsby Paystack URL public key. Cool stuff. So we have this config, right? Then so what I can do now is I have all of this guy reference, blah blah blah, on closing course console, unlock course. Then Paystack hook example equals initialize payment. Button click. Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to do is, let me see, are there other examples or use cases for this? Using the Paystack button. No, I'm not using Paystack button. So what I'm going to do is on success, then I'm going to do Paystack where's this guy at? The hook. I'm looking for the hook itself. So initialize payment. So I'm going to do const. Where is this guy make donation? Okay. So donate page. I'm going to say use a stack payment, right? Then I'm going to do, okay, yeah. Cut this guy out, or highlight this guy and override this rather. Then initialize Paystack payment equals config, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say that, okay, yeah. So I'm going to say const Paystack config, set Paystack config, Paystack config equals use states, React. Then I'm going to say Paystack default config, right? I'm going to say paste tag default config. Then I'm going to this paste tag config. Then I'm going to set the default config to be this guy, right? So yeah, I'm going to come over here and say that set paste tag config to be current config. Whatever the current config is, I want to get that. I want to create an object, current config, I want to get an object and say that the current config with the data. But not with the data per se. What we need right now is just the email and the amount. So we'll still get the full name later, right? So we can just say const amount, comma email equals data, right? Then we're going to say amount email. Good stuff. Okay. I know what this problem is. I've seen this problem and I've encountered it before. Return. All right. So I expect that this config now, so this should be paste tag config, right? Because I can't use a hook in a function. So I'm guessing this workaround should work. Then I can now say initialize payment. Then I can say initialize paste tag payment. Start payment on success, comma on close. Right? Save it up and let's see what that gives us. Worst case scenario is going to throw an error. And we love errors, don't we? Nothing is happening. Initialize payment. Paste tag is not getting initialized. No console error. Nothing. Nah, and it seems like I need to refresh this page. Because I'm not even logging anything again. rmo at domain.com 5000 platform. Let's click on this. Boom! We could not start this transaction. Please enter a valid key. Makes sense. Cool stuff. So I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen right now, just so that I can ensure that I have the correct key. So stop screen. So I'm checking it to be sure that I have the correct key. Bad request filled with this guy. So let me check env. That'll be paste tag. Donate. I'm trying to debug here to see the reason why this is not working. .env. Oh shit, it's actually not working. It's not picking that value. Okay, I think I'll just try using that value directly. Newsletter. Donate. Gatsby. Just trying to confirm that this works. So the pages are still loading. What's happening here? It's still getting returned as undefined. So this is not able to access the environment very well. What? Let me try some other values that we have here, because I'm damn sure this is the way environment variables work in Gatsby, man. Okay, that got returned. Let me try another one. Okay, that got returned as well. What is it with Paystack that it is not getting returned? Gatsby. Mate. Wow, undefined. Really? This is surprising, you know. Gatsby underscore Paystack underscore this guy. Let me run this guy again. Gatsby develop. Let's see what that's going to give us. Okay, so let's see what that gives us. Okay, yeah, and it returns the value now. Well, that was one interesting bug that I had to deal with, man. Okay, back to sharing my screen. Share screen. A window one. No. Should be this guy. No, entire screen. It should be screen one. Alrighty. Okay, cool stuff. So let's enter. Oh shit. What's happening? Okay, we'll probably deal with that later. But the important thing right now is, okay, I think I should be able to deal with it now. Is okay. So the important thing now is the max width equals that, container equals that. All right, save it up and let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to enter a name here and say aremo, then aremo at domain.com. Then I'm going to come here and say 5,000. And let's click on donate. Then Paystack checkout is loading. I hope it goes through this time. We could not say, please enter a valid email address. Oh, nice. That's not a problem. So why is it not a valid email address? Okay, I'm guessing that. So I think that in all sincerity, let me look at this guy again. Use Paystack payment config, right? I actually expected that, but I feel like there should be a better way to do this guy actually. So as it says, component props text and success because I can't have the email address until the user has filled the form. So it says initialize payment. Now this looks nah. So I have to dig through the code base of this. No, now. No, now. Let me see. I have to dig through the code base of this because I'm trying to update the config, then I'm trying to pass that into that. It says okay. Let me check the libs. Right. So paystack actions. Paystack actions. Nah, this is not what I need. I need the paystack scripts. These effects. Nah, this is not what I need. I need a way to be able to update this config and pass it in here. Right. So, okay, I guess I know where I can. Oh, but that wouldn't make any sense, will it? If I have to use a use effect to be able to like pass the config and all of that, right? I don't think that would make any sense. This dude should be able to accept more than. This is not the only place where this guy should be able to accept the email, in my opinion, right? I think I'll most likely just go ahead and use the paystack library itself directly instead of using React paystack. There is one by, let me see if this is any good. Okay, I think I know the library I should be using. No, that's not the library I should be using. Oh, this does not even have any documentation. Who is supposed to use that? Nah. This is so intriguing. So we have the config. Of course, this is synchronous, so there's no way I can wait for it to be done, right? And then initialize paystack payment. Okay, I can't use this inside of here. It's going to throw an error. React is going to throw an error. Definitely. This payment is called inside of the operation. Cannot. Yeah, it's going to throw an error. So is either I look for a way to. Let me see. Oh wow, this library is kicking me in the ass. Let me check the paystack API wrapper, but this seems to be in Node. Or some other list. Nah, this is not what I need. This looks. This is a React acting. Let's see if this is any good. Nah. Use paystack. I'm trying to think of, should I use a hook to undo this? But it doesn't make any sense. I don't think this guy's thought about the use case of a form. I think, in fact, this person just copied another person's code. This guy is a thief. This guy just copied this other guy's code and redeployed it to NPM. Interesting. So I was trying to think through this. You have to config. Email. I can't have access to the email address until I've filled this form, right? And I can't use a hook inside of. And I can't use a hook inside of here. So I believe that this gives this initialize paystack payment should have. Okay, let me see. Use paystack payment options. Paystack props options. Now, my friend. So it's expect a callback on close, and that's all. Options paystack. Use paystack payment options and expect a callback on close. So we could have passed. I'm going to try and pass the paystack config here. I don't think this is super serious. I'm going to just say paystack I'm going to say paystack. I'm going to say paystack config, comma, on success equals that. And let's see what it gives us. Donate. Aha! And it worked. These guys need to do well with documenting stuff, man. All right. And that is 50. All right. So the next thing we need to do is say const amount from form, amount in Kobo. This is amount in Kobo. Okay, this is amount. So okay, I don't need to do that. So I just do const amount in Kobo, because amount multiplied by, I think, 1000. I think that would be the right thing. No, multiplied by 100. $5,000. Nope. Okay. I'm still passing amounts. Amount is amount in Kobo. Save it up. Onto the log. Let's see. Let me refresh this page. This guy got to be moving mad. Aremu at domain.com. 5,000. Was error? There should be some form of error in the console or something. Callback must be a valid function. Interesting. So that thing did not work. That's what it means. Okay, so let me see. Use effects. Use effects is const. Well, we can't access this guy inside of here. Wow. I'm thinking of creating a hook to handle this, but even if I create a hook, how is this still going to work? Okay, so let me do const use make donation first, this guy, right? So we use config. Okay. Okay. So const initialize paystack payment because use paystack config, right? So, but the problem is we still need this guy. We still need the hook after the form is submitted, and this guy seems not to have provided a way to. Looks like I still need to look through this. Use paystack payment. Nah. Use paystack payment. Node modus. React paystack. Element of PQ R. I'm trying looking through the code base to go and figure out whatsoever this library maker might have written here. React paystack. Okay, so let's see. This is the code. Paste tag button, I don't need that. Paste tag context. Initialize payment on success, okay. Then the config type, I paste tag context because this guy initialize payment on close. This is not what I need. On success, I'm looking for the config. Use paste tag, right? Loaded is effective catch script that includes the source. I don't need all of these guys, man. This is not what I'm looking for. Use paste tag. So yeah, it says here that use paste tag. Script loaded because it's paste tag, and this is all the options, right? Then the options is paste tag props. But we can't update these props. That's the problem, bro. So except I say, which wouldn't even make sense, right? Except I do something like, let's what do you call it? Let's nah, that wouldn't make any sense. That wouldn't make any sense. I need to be able to initiate. This is stressing me out. It says just paste tag payment, then the config is outside and we can't update the config. Okay, I guess I know what I will do here. I will have to use React form to watch for the values and just pass it to the config, right? So I'm going to say, so let me just do a bunch of Ctrl-Z, right? The paste tag config, right? So I no longer need to do this guy. Though watching for form input is not advised in React form because it causes a lot of render. But in this case, there's obviously no way forward. So that's the only thing I'm going to have to do. But whoever wrote this library, probably just needs to write and make some improvements to it, or this package rather. So I'm just going to remove this guy, and I'm going to, I think I should be able to get watch. All right, yeah. So I'm going to watch for the, I'm just going to say const amount, const watch amount, right? Const email equals watch email. Then I can pass that to oh my goodness. I can pass that to the paste tag default config, right? Then I can say amount and email. At least it should allow me to do that, yeah? You know this use effect? Add a comma here. Please, who is on the stream, drop a comment in the comment section. This thing has been kicking my ass for some minutes now. So the amount in Kobo, so amount in Kobo equals this guy, then this amount is amount in Kobo. All right, so we don't need this guy again. We don't even have it. Don't even have this guy. Then maybe donation is just paste tag. No, it's just on success, then on close. C is not defined. Where is C? C, where are thou? On 29, line 29. Okay, yeah, that was definitely a mistake. All right, cool stuff. So let's go back here. Let's see what that gives us. It says on call error, attribute callback must be a valid function. Refresh the page. It's not me you're talking to. aremu@domain.com. Then 5,000. Next. If this doesn't work, then there's definitely a problem. Okay, and it works. 5,000 naira. Whoop! Whoop! Interesting. So, obviously, I don't have 5,000 naira to pay you guys right now, but it works. Paste tag integration works. Nice. So what I want to do right now is, in fact, I think I'm going to remove the first name thingy, right? And we're just going to do, okay, we should probably leave the first name and the full name, right? Then we are going to do the payment type, right? So I'm going to do select, right? Then select. Where is the select? Right. Then okay, before we do this, we want to ensure that the basket integration works as well. So I'm going to come back to npm and I'm going to say basket react, right? Then I'm going to do yarn add basket react. So basket react, this is going to allow us to receive money in crypto, right? So so the same approach basically, yeah. So okay, this basket, so const on so what we're going to do here is initialize base tag payment, right? And so initialize baskets payment, right? Okay, so const basket default config first public key, equals process.env.example equals gatb basket API, right? Default config, right? Currency, okay, yeah. So for now, the currency is going to be ngn. Currency is going to be ngn. Currency is ngn, right? Basket default config. Currency is ngn. Oh shit! I think it's running low. Let me get the charger. Whoop 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 whoop. Currency is the ngn, right? So the currency right now is ngn. Then so initialize basket payment config, right? So I'm going to come over here and say initialize basket payment because basket default config. Basket default config. This guy. Basket default config. This guy. Then what other thing? So the amount here is a string. So we're going to do amount dot to string, right? Metadata reference. Then on success, what's this? We'll send you work. Amount on success is console.log. success. Then on close, console the log. Closed. Right? So what I want to do right now is just close this guy out and say, let me change this sound actually. I'll just say initialize basket payments. That's what that gives us. Okay, still paste tag and showing up. I need to refresh. Okay. Amount. Put the string. Alrighty. Domain.com. Didn't. Oh, and basket loads up. Whoop. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, bro. Is he trying to get the details or the information or something? Oh my goodness. This seems to be taking a minute. I'll probably just close this and try again or something. So close, and let's try again. Is there anything in the console? Okay. I think L is not a function. Okay. So since there's an error, I would. So there are two options here. Is that I try and debug this error, or I just pray that they fix the error one day. Alrighty, so it says 400. So I'm guessing that. So let me check the amount again. So instead of doing amount dot to string, let me just, because what they put in there was actually string. So I guess that. So there's definitely something wrong. It's saying that's a bad request. What do you call it? That's a bad request error. Let's try this one more time. Remove. I'll try and check the docs actually. I'll try and check the docs just to be sure that let me try and check the docs. Seems there's a demo here. Okay, yeah. So amount 1, test at domain. Okay, I have a public key that I can use, but of course I cannot use it in here. Stop screen sharing. Right. Then okay, so I just tried it somewhere else now, and it seems to be working. So I'm guessing it's probably like the parameters that we passed in here. That's probably like the reason it's not working. So I'm just going to come over here and try and inspect again. So let me share screen. Entire screen, screen 1. All right. So let me look through this again. I think it's an issue with bad request. It's a 400 bad request. So which means that I'm passing something that's not expecting, or is expecting something that I'm not passing. So let's check this guy again. Donate. Amount. Use basket equals this guy. On success equals that. Let me see. So let's check. Basket react. Right. So it says config equals this guy public key. Let me confirm that. Oh shit, I'm not passing email. No, I wasn't passing email. But I think the error reporting could have been better though. So let's see what that gives us now. All right, and it works. And it works, right? So now people can pay or make donations on this platform with cryptocurrency. Okay, nice. So let's check that again to be sure that it works. Cool stuff. So now the next thing I want to do is I want the user to be able to switch between the payment platform that they want to use, whether they want to use Paystack or they want to use Basket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Where is the payment platform thingy? Payment platform. I'm just going to click on select. I'm going to create a select button. Right, then register it as register payment gateway. Okay. I think I have to spread this something payment gateway, right? Then options, option, Paystack, right? Then option is basket, right? Default value is Paystack, right? Then the value is the value here is the value here is the value here is Paystack. Value here is basket. Save it up and let's see what that gives us. Okay, that was not supposed to be a spread operator. That's supposed to be a register. Okay. So by default, it's selected basket. We are going to, of course, format this later, right? Payment platform. Thank you for coming. Payment gateway. Cool. So what we're going to do now is, so we have the two payment gateways now. We have basket and Paystack. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an object here, and I'm going to say const pay make payments based on gateway, right? That's probably a terrible name, but I'm just going to go with that for now. So I'm going. The key is going to be Paystack. Then this guy is going to be initialize Paystack payments, right? Then this guy is going to be basket, right? Then it's going to be initialize basket payment. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the payment gateway from data, payment gateway from data, right? Then I'm going to make payment based on gateway, payment gateway. Save it up and let's see what that gives us. So right now, expected an assignment of a function called instead saw an unused expression. On what number is that? 71. Right, so let's see. Make donation. Okay, was it basket that was selected? Oh yeah, basket was selected. Let's do pay stack. Oh, it's still pay stack. So that means the value didn't change or what? Let's refresh this page. Sensational. Aremu at domain.com. Then amount is 50 on 500. Then it says make payment. All right, so we have okay, I can just do let's initialize, right? I just do okay, so if I do this guy, if I say this guy returns, yeah, it should work. Expected an assignment, make payment based on gateway. Expected an assignment. So I'm coming. Let me just assign these guys. Right. I'm not sure I've ever had to use like a pattern like this. So it says right. Let's see. Aremu. Okay, Aremu at domain.com. 1000. Stack. Then do that. It says called E is not a function. How would you call a method on something? So if I wanted to say these dots basket, wait, so I think it's high time we log console.log payment gateway. What's the payment gateway? What value is getting returned? I think this is a good time to confirm that. Payment gateway is not a function. You know, that's no longer news. Undefined. I see. Register equals this. Then name plus payment gateway. Payment gateway. Okay, cool. Let's see now. Payment gateway and the ID. As well. Okay, so let's log the data. Console.log data. Payment gateway is undefined. Okay, so use form, React book form, we select. So also let me check the input component. Let me see what magic we are running inside of here. Input ID, register. Okay. So I think, oh, okay, I think I understand what's happening. The register here should spread. I remove at domain.com 5,000. Payment gateway is still undefined. Really? Nah, there has to be something wrong somewhere. Undefined. Wow, really? So I have to read React hook from inputs. API. This form. Register hidden value. Register. Okay. Oh shit. It should be. I was one making a mistake all along. It should be. I should be spreading this guy here, not there. Yep. All right. So let's go again. And it works. That was the mistake I was making all along. Because I was wondering, wait, what was actually happening here? All right, yeah. Then it accepts paste. Then it's using baskets. If I switch these over to paste tag, and it's using space tag. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. So, something I definitely want to do right now is I want this guy to basically have the same style as this. So, I want to come over here and say type and put that blah 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 equals that. So what I want to do is I want to catch the type, right? And const impute element equals, so const is select equals type dot lowercase dot trim, just in case somebody forgets, select form type, select input type. Oh my god, select input, it selects input, it selects input type. If it selects input type, right, we want to, it selects input type, we want to make sure that, so if it selects input type, the element that we want to use is select, else we want to use normal input. So in this input now, we replaced with inputs element, right? Slash input element. Then if it has children, in the case of options, then children. So I expect that so far this shouldn't affect anything. Then I'll just do input, then the type equals select, register equals this guy. Save it up, and let's see what that gives us. This is okay. So yep. You select input type. Okay, so well, let's deal with these things one after the other. Then pay stack basket. So if there's a type, okay, cross select. All right. So it means that I can now come over here and say I remove, then I remove at domain.com, then 5,000 basket, then donate. Perfect. It's sensational. Sure. So just for the gram, so I just finished the integration. So you can select that basket or pay stack, and when you click on donate, you can see right now it's popping up pay stack. If I close this guy out and I click on basket instead, and I click on donate, and it's loading basket, and you can pay in any cryptocurrency of your choice. One feature that I should probably add to the basket is the ability to be able to switch currency, but we'll deal with that later. Sensational. And to be honest, I think that that's the end of this stream. And I'm ending the broadcast now after an hour and some minutes.